What's going on, my trainer club? Today we're going to check out Pokemon Go Fest 2021 reviews, best, worst, and what can be improved for next year. So welcome to the trainer club. Here we go. Welcome back, everybody. Let me know in the comments below, how was your Go Fest 2021 in Pokemon Go? Did you guys get your shinies? Did you get the legendaries you want? Please use constructive feedback when you are commenting down, because that is the most effective way. Leave your emotions out of it. Maybe you're happy, maybe you're sad, which is amazing. I want you guys to feel those emotions, but when giving constructive feedback, it's always important to make sure to give something that's like, I like this because of this. I like this because of this. I did not like this. Maybe you could have done this a little bit better. Not, this happened, this sucked. And on top of that, I want to remind you guys that I always remind you guys, if you haven't seen my video, how to stay happy playing Pokemon Go, please check it out up here. The best thing to do when playing something that does not have guaranteed results like Pokemon Go, it is an RNG game, random number generated game. Meaning, some days you're going to have amazing shiny calm days. The next day could be a not so great shiny calm day, meaning you get 8 on this day and 40 on this day. Sometimes it happens. I was in Tokyo. I did Ralt's Calm Day in Tokyo in one of the densest spawn parks probably in the entire world, and I had my worst producing shiny calm day. It just happened. So the number one thing I want to recommend to you guys before we jump into this video, which is going to be really fun and exciting, is always play for something that is reliable. Meaning, you love doing raid battles, you love catching Pokemon, you love increasing your Stardust, you love seeing how many Pokemon you can catch in a day as a competition with yourself. Things such as that are going to always keep you happy. Let the shinies and everything else that is a random number generated system be a cherry on top of your already positive cake. Please remember that. The shinies, cherry on top. 100% IV raid bosses, cherry on top. Raiding is a fun experience that you can guarantee is going to happen over and over and over again. So that's what I recommend before we jump into this. I just want to say thank you to everybody that came out to New York City. It was a lot of fun. We had a lot of people that came out. It was a great turnout, number one. Number two, I want to thank all my Patrons who came out, who played, who had a lot of fun in the remote raid groups, in the elite and master tiers. It was so much fun. And then the in-person Patrons that helped me put on an amazing event for so many people here in New York City. It was absolutely fantastic, man. There's nothing like that. That was a really cool time. So without further ado, we're gonna jump into the positives, then we're gonna jump into the negatives, and then we're gonna jump into the featured improvements. So let's do that right now. Alrighty guys, on to the positive experience of Go Fest 2021. Number one, it was relatively inexpensive. I mean, $5 for everything that you did get, I think is extremely cheap, extremely reasonable. In my personal opinion, I paid $15 to $20 for the same experience before, or maybe even a little bit less of an experience, and it was always worth it to me. It's just a game that I enjoy. It's something that I enjoy to do. Obviously, I do it for a living as well, but beyond that, even if I didn't, I would easily and have easily paid for these events in the past. So, in my mind, it's a very reasonable experience, which is really cool. Number two, there was tons of shiny potentials out there. Great new shinies, we had new regionals, old shinies that came back. We have the chance for getting something such as, for me, Skorupi was one of the shinies that I have not gotten. I was able to get that. There was Woobat spawning, have not gotten. It was spawning. Larvitar, Gibble if you missed Gibble Calm Day. Obviously we have the new shiny Dino that was out that's more, not so new, but in the wild a lot more common than it has ever been in the past. Not only that, we had regional spawning. Not only did we have Throw and Sawk spawning for everybody, which is always a win, we also had Chatot spawning as well, for anybody that didn't get that. So 3 regionals spawning at Go Fest, man, is really, really good. Oftentimes in the past, it's only been one. Like Go Fest 2019 in Chicago, the only regional, I might be wrong about this, but it was Chatot. I know it was Chatot, but I'm trying to think if there was anything else. I don't think so, because I think the year before that was Pachirisu. So, man, that's really cool that you get a bunch of regionals in it, one ticket event that is global, and you don't have to travel, which is my next point. You did not have to travel to an event space to play this event, which is really cool. Obviously, it's kind of forced the hand of Pokemon Go to make this happen, but normally speaking, you would have airplane tickets, hotel tickets, getting to a location. Now you can just play this event from home which is extremely cool, and I hope that they still integrate this process going forward, even with the future in-person events, which I always recommend everybody checking out because they're a ton of fun. In my opinion, it was totally worth the $5. We're talking $5. Most of us, or a lot of you guys, may spend $5 on a cup of coffee at Starbucks. So $5 to have a 2-day experience, really cool. Not only from that $5 did we get the event, you also got 21 free raid passes, which if you think about it, $5, 500 coins, maximally is virtually gonna get you 6 to 8 raid passes, and you got 21 and an experience. Man, that is such a great deal. Not only that, the community is absolutely amazing. Pokemon Go is something that is extremely unique. So we had a meetup in Central Park. There's great places around the world in every single city that you guys can play, which is extremely fortunate for all of us. And it's a really positive community for the most part. And then also we had 3-hour lure modules, which is always one of my favorite things, to be in a city, especially something like downtown New York, downtown Chicago, something that has so many Pokestops, and the only thing you can see everywhere is confetti falling from the Pokestops. It is so awesome. And not only that, GoFest and other events always bring in returning players and new players to play Pokemon Go. So having some experiences such as this is always positive to adding to the community, because the people that connect with it and build upon it will more than likely stay put, and the people that maybe from other gaming communities or other walks of life that may not be so positive and adventurous may get bounced off of the community. So we're adding positive members, which I always think is a big win. Let me know what you guys think, if there's any other positives that you had throughout the day. Honestly, for me, the positives, boom, way overshadowed the negatives. But now let's cover some of the negatives, because there were definitely some things that were a little bit challenging. Alrighty, so number one, the incense spawns. I'm gonna compare this to GoFest, right? When you're in person, obviously it's somewhat rate limited because there's only so much I think that they can do. But when you're in person, there's usually habitats, right? And I think they've done a great job at rotating the habitats. You get 2 hours basically of every habitat. The one downside is, if you really want the cave spawns, you can't hang out in the cave habitat like you do in a regular in-person GoFest, which is one of the great experiences. Or if there's a specific shiny that's spawning in the ocean habitat, you can hang out in the ocean habitat. But when it's global, you can't do that. And I don't think that they could really ever mimic that, but it would be cool to have the incenses spawn, I don't know about more frequently, because that would compete with regular spawns, but to have more focused spawns coming from their incense. Like, literally, you only get the 4 featured spawns from the incense. I was having Blitzels spawning from my incense during the day, and I don't want any Blitzels. I'm not here at Pokemon Go Fest for Blitzels. It's not a relevant Pokemon, it's not shiny, and I don't even remember seeing it featured anywhere ever, but it was spawning and competing with some of the incense spawns. So for me, if they only spawned those 4 to 5 spawns throughout the entire 60 minutes of spawning from incense twice, so 120, I would be a much happier camper than getting other random non-exclusive spawns from my incense. Not only that, there were some more featured Pokemon in the incense, such as Tyranitar, which I was really excited about, and I probably got a lot of you guys excited about because of the XL Candy Guaranteed 2 per catch, and then it can lead you to a Mega Tyranitar whenever that does come out. I didn't see one Tyranitar. Sure, there were times when I was raiding and I had my gacha running, and maybe it ran from me, but the entire day one when I was playing, I did do some raids, I never saw one Tyranitar, not one. So that was a little bit unfortunate and disappointing for me, which if you followed the first point correction, it would have made it a whole lot better. Which then leads us into day 2. So day 2, I thought it was a really cool concept, but whenever I see something that's like that massive, there's only so many gyms out there. So I liked that the gyms were turning over quite frequently. I thought that was a really good idea. However, I was a big Groudon raider. I'm in New York City. Maybe I saw 6 Groudons throughout the entire hour, which is pretty cool. But if you're in a smaller town and you only have like 3 to 4 gyms, you're having 38 raid bosses over a 4-hour period compete for those 4 gyms. So you're gonna be extremely limited. So unfortunately, the only really fix I see for this is to maybe put double the amount of gyms during GoFest throughout the entire world, which would probably make that experience a whole lot better. But beyond that, maybe having a little bit more, it's hard to say for that one. I was gonna say spawn frequently, but then you're not gonna be able to do as many. Or a great thing, maybe to change the countdown timers from 2 minutes to 60 seconds because people are jumping in so frequently fast. And then also there was a little bit of glitches and bugs. I think the biggest glitch was probably obviously the game freezing, but the raid lobby wasn't loading the screen for me for the entire day. So if I invited somebody, it was very rare for me to see who actually got into my raid, unless I did a private lobby and then opened it up to public. So that's a big thing. Number 2, getting kicked from raid lobbies. If I ever multitask, like let's say I had to go into Discord to talk to somebody and came back and the raid already started, my raid would freeze and I would lose out on that raid, and then I have to go back into another 1:20 timer. And it was just a little bit of an experience that I think some of those little small glitches that freeze the game, that thing's not loading, the raids are freezing, and then that leads us into the remote raid passes, which when you do invite people to the raids or get invited, it would be really amazing if you wouldn't have to click into a raid and then the lobby's already full, which is kind of unfortunate when you have a couple ones and you have to choose one of 3. And then finally, day 2, I think that the raid boss shiny rate, based on it only being an 8-hour window of grinding, was very low. I think in grand total, I did maybe 60 raids and I got 1 shiny. In comparison to the Rayquaza weekend, granted I did a lot more Rayquazas, I think I got like 8 to 10 shiny Rayquazas. So maybe having like a 1 in 15 shiny chance would be a much better experience, because let's just say that you're paying $5, you're only using 21 raid passes, and you don't get 1 shiny, slightly disappointing. And my shiny came all the way at the end of the day, and it was a Raikou. So I have all the shinies, so I wasn't raiding all the shinies too, to be honest. So I was more into the XL candy grind, but at the same time, I think that the raid boss shiny rate could have been increased, being that it's only an 8-hour window. Which then leads to my favorite section, as always, guys. I love giving improvements. I hope that you guys watch this video, you share this video, because this is a great way to get feedback to Niantic by getting a lot of traction on a video such as this. The number 1 thing I think could have been improved is using mass items. What I mean by that, instead of going into your bag, touching an incense, dropping an incense, touching an incense, dropping an incense, is to touch an incense, boom, it pops up. And then it says, how many would you like to use? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Would you like to use 8 for a total of 8 hours? Yes. Boom, done. Star pieces, you gotta do 16 if you're trying to grind out the whole day. Lucky eggs, 16. It took a lot of extra time that was totally not necessary. And to add on to that, it would be amazing when you're in a raid lobby for the items to still stay up on how much time is left. Because how many times are you guys in raid lobbies where you're like, I don't remember how much time is left on my egg. I don't know if I have to put one on or not. It's getting towards the end of the event, or I just don't know. I would just throw an egg on. But it'd be nice if it's like, oh dude, you still have 2 hours left on your egg. Or, oh, you only have 1 minute left on this egg, put another one on. Because I only had 20 seconds to put on 3 eggs, and I couldn't get the entire day's worth of eggs because we didn't have that initial ticker on there. And number 2, the raid lobby glitches would be amazing if they're fixed. Number 1, the invites to come in faster. Number 2, to show all the people in the raids is kind of essential to get that down. And then number 3, I think when you get that remote raid invite, it should tell you if that raid is still available for you to join before you join into it. Because if you have 5 invites and you're sitting right there and you don't have the know-how of which one is gonna be good, you could click on one, try to get into it because you have that 10 seconds of the raid boss to like scream at you, which is a waste of time, especially when you're already in a time crunch. And then you jump into that raid lobby, it's closed, you have to back out, and then the other 2 invitations are already expired because they all got sent to you at the exact same time. And the next thing that's gonna be improved, maybe if you don't wanna do it always, fine. But allow us during GoFest to buy 100 raid passes in the remote form one time, so that we can have as many as possible and we don't have to keep on purchasing raid passes when in a time crunch situation already. 5 seconds hitting that remote raid buy button is very, very crucial sometimes. Not only that, the remote raid invites should show up overlaying anything that you're doing. What do I mean by that? Let's say I'm in there clearing out my bag. If you don't back out to check if you got a remote raid invite, you're not gonna see it. But if you do it and you're clearing out your bag and then it were to overlay the entire game, it's like, hey man, This person just invited you to a raid. Do you want to do it? Yes. Boom, it takes you right out of your bag into the raid, which would be really amazing. And then finally, some improvements were, like we talked about, having the incense spawn exclusively for the ticket pass holders, the exclusive spawns. So during the hour that has Sawk, it's a 1 of 4 chance that it's spawning a Sawk, not a 1 in 20 chance that a Sawk does happen and other things happen. I think that needs to be very, very exclusive, number 1, because you're purchasing the ticket to get those incense spawns. Number 2, I think having event spawns throughout the entire weekend in more prominent forms is always good for people to grind a little bit extra. The shiny chances don't always have to be up. That would be really good. And then on day 2, I think having a little bit higher shiny chances is a good idea because you have 21 raid passes and you can kind of do that pretty fast. So if you don't plan to buy more, granted I know they're trying to direct you into buying more, but if you want a shiny check or shiny hunt or catch more Pokemon, I think it's always great, even though I did honestly really well on day 2. If you guys want to check out that vlog, you can check it out up here. It's still kind of nice to have that additional option to play for shinies because at some point raid bosses do come out and come back, but the shinies at this level of an event never really happen again like this. And then finally, having additional rare spawns such as Dino would be really cool because obviously they're in raids as well, and I get the whole pay to play. If you want to check out the paywall system, you can check it out up here. You know, it's just nice to have a little bit more. Even if you lower the shiny rate just a little bit and put more spawns in the wild, be totally cool with that because at least I'm seeing more of a rare Pokemon, which is always something fun. So overall for me, I loved it. I had an absolute blast. In New York City, it was amazing. That's the reason I always tell you guys to go into a downtown area because of the gym density, especially on a day like this. Spawn density, it's amazing. If they don't integrate that into your Pokemon Go play, make it an adventure for you, for your family, for your significant other. Go out and do stuff in the city, have a fun time. It's a blast, I'm telling you. And beyond that, with a few improvements, small ones needed, such as the raid invite, such as the incense spawns, and a couple other ones, this next year's event could be extremely good because I feel like they're building, getting them better each and every time to have more fun and enjoyability for us in Pokemon Go. So let me know in the comments below what you guys think. Likers, commenters, subscribers, Patreon members, everybody takes their support, subscription, today to the next level. I'm gonna see you guys out on the next video. Peace. I want to take this time to thank everybody who supports me in every facet. It means the world to me, and an extra special thank you to all my Patreons. I greatly appreciate the extra support to continue to allow me to pursue Pokemon Go full time, allowing me to create my daily video uploads in the most timely fashion for everyone's benefit. Plus, I get the amazing experience of sharing my creative processes behind the scenes and raiding all around the globe with select upper tiers. Thank you everybody for being a part of the Trainer Club. You all mean the absolute world to me, and I will see you guys out on the next video.